Had to test the microphone. I was having some issues. Welcome back. If you haven't been here before, welcome. This is Anne. Welcome to Living with Grace. I got time? You got some time? Okay, let's spend some time together. Let's do this. Okay, so I decided to, do the podcast. I'm having some issues editing, but you know what? You got to learn. If you don't know how to do it, ask someone. Ask somebody. Ask someone. So anyhow, if you're watching me, you can see that I clearly burned my forehead with a curling iron. The attempt was real. As much as I have many years of doing hair and holding irons and martial irons, curling irons, all that stuff, you'd think that I wouldn't burn myself, but it happens. It happens. I think I was like high on caffeine from my second coffee of the day, which I should not have drank. Anyhow, so yes, this podcast will be about surviving the pain, surviving the abuse, surviving what had happened, whether it was young, old, willing, unwilling, not known. Okay. I shouldn't even say willing because abuse is abuse. So overcoming that. If you've been abused, you'd understand that there's a sense of loss, like something's being taken from you. You're being disrespected at the lowest form, almost at the lowest form. I say the lowest form because I was there. And you wouldn't expect it to be the person that's actually doing it, whether it be a spouse, a parent, an employer or employee or associate or a friend. It hurts. It hurts. So for me, it started at a young age. And I'll have my book out soon, so you read more about it. But I will be talking briefly about my experience because that's why I'm here. I can only speak based off of what I went through. And try not to let this distract you because I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, anyhow, so abuse, overcoming abuse. I found that it was a process. I found that like as much as I was trying to handle it on my own, that you can't forget it. Like when something's taken from you, I speak about myself because something was taken from me and in the lines of abusing me. And when that happened, I felt like, even though I didn't understand, I felt like something was taken from me. And as I got older, as I protected myself to make sure it wouldn't happen again or nobody could take that from me again, I was seen as defensive. I was seen as out of order. I was seen as rebellious and rude. I was seen as so many different things from people I didn't understand. But those other people that were abused, or at least have empathy and compassion to someone's behavior, that is an outward experience of something that's going on, understood. Yes, I could have healed myself by dealing with the persons that did that to me. But even in that it was temporary. Like if I knew that somebody beat them up or did this and that to them, I'd have a chuckle at them in the moment, but I'd still be mad and upset because it happened, and vengeance needs to be at its worst point because the hatred was there, the confusion, the loss. Like, how could you do that? And knowing that it was an individual made it easier for me to say, you know what, they need to be gone because I'm an individual, they're an individual, and because they did that, they need to be gone. And those are the thoughts that run through our head because we're like, how could they do that to us? You know what I'm saying? How could you do that? And humanly possible would be, not humanly possible, sorry. The human reaction would be deal with it, right? But even when they're dealt with, even when you do call 911, or even if you don't, even if you didn't tell anybody, the pain is still there and they're still living. So for me, I did things to try and heal myself, but it didn't really work. Then I tried to go to counseling and it didn't work because I was still angry. But knowing that I wanted a better life, or at least wanting a better life for me and my children, because now I'm responsible for other individuals, other human beings, I knew that my vengeance, my anger, my hatred, and my loss was affecting me. It was affecting me. And it was affecting the decisions that I made. So overcoming abuse or overcoming pain and stuff, some people would say forgetting about it like it didn't even happen is a coping mechanism. Not talking about it, coping mechanism, like And then some people say, I'm healed from it, I'm over it, but can't even talk about it. They're not able to talk about it. But if they do talk about it, they're still angry like it happened yesterday or that very second. I used to be that person. And the more that I'd hear of other people going through it, it bothered me. Like I wanted to advocate for them. I wanted to fight for them. I wanted to heal them because I knew the anguish. I knew the pain. I knew the loss. And so the search for healing, I did it in many different ways. I did it in alcohol. I did it in having sex. I did it with, I did it with many different things, but I still wasn't healed. So I was coping, but I wasn't healed. I wasn't. So, when I came to a point where, the lack of love that I had for myself and for others, and wanting better for my life and my children, understanding that there is an answer, there's healing for me, instead of me living this life and thinking this way and actually being less than whole, was when I found out about Jesus. And I know a lot of people hear about Jesus and they're like, oh yeah, that's for you, that's not for me. But that completely healed me, because when I knew that he stood up for me in every area of my life, but this what was taken from me, that he snuffed the enemy, he dealt with who actually did it to me. I was like, oh my gosh, no one ever showed me that. As much as I love everyone and they didn't understand, grace is given to them as well. The pain and the hurt that I was going through, they couldn't heal that. They tried to be understanding, some try to dismiss it, but I forgive them. When I realized what Jesus did for me in terms of saving me completely, I started to believe that, because I'm like, it makes sense. Because when certain things are taken from you, you can look at the person and say it's that person. But when it's on a different level, you're like, okay, no, this was intentional. This is coming from a different place. And it's a spiritual aspect of it. That's another video. That's another podcast. And when I didn't want to live in fear anymore, I didn't want to live in lack, I didn't want to live in confusion, I didn't want to live in anger anymore, because that's what I was living by. The anger had driven me to do certain things. I have no regrets, because it happened. God has forgiven me. I forgive myself. It was part of my life. And some people say, yeah, that's just how life is. But I think some things can be prevented had we known the truth, right? So some things still can be prevented. And managing our pain, I don't think that's correct. As much as people think, oh, it's just normal and that's the way it is. Not anymore. I don't think that way anymore. I believe that you can be fully healed from a thing, like completely, spiritually, mentally, and physically. I really believe that. I really do, because of the walks that I have had with God and the stuff that he's shown to me, and the things that he has physically, mentally, and spiritually done for me. And so it's like, we manage our pains. We have good reason to. But I also believe that when we're angry and we're hurt, our decisions are altered. When we're healed, our decisions will be different, right? So in managing it, you're still living with it, whether they're around you or not. And when you heal from it, completely heal from it, you can talk about it. And you could also even see the people that have hurt you. And it will never be a trigger point anymore. You'll actually know why they did it to you, if you care to know. And you'll also walk in forgiveness, understanding the real agenda, the real agenda. And so coping with things that we have no control over sometimes can be taught to us that it's normal just to do that, just manage it, it happened, okay, fine. But then when we start acting out based off of the pains or, the memory of it, people will dismiss us. And I'll say this because sometimes people's reactions and behaviors cause us to actually stay in a state, but they don't understand what happened to us, They don't understand how we feel as much as we say it. And even those that have been in the same situation, they do understand it, but their walk is different from yours. Their pain is different from yours, but we can relate. So for me, I'd say that managing it is not healthy. It isn't healthy. Yes, managing it is for a time, but how long can you manage it? Like, how long? Healing is for all of us, even within our thinking, even within our everyday. Yes, medication is necessary. Our thoughts matter. How we think about ourselves matter. How others do, yeah, but how you think about yourself matters. And when something's taken from you, restoration is possible, but it takes time in a sense of understanding how that can happen. And for me, with things that was taken from me in terms of abuse, when we stand up and say that you will never take it from me again, are we really proclaiming that? They will never do that. I used to say that, but I was doing it based off of the carnal manner, like physically, like you can't, I won't let you. But it was already taken. And I'm speaking from that standpoint. Anger and frustration, that would never happen again. It was already taken. But then when you walk with God, He restores you. He restores what was taken. And He'll break it down to you how it happened if you're willing to listen. Do you know what I'm saying? He'll break it down to you and show you how much He loves you and how He has healed you. Yes, this happened. Yes, that happened. But I'm your healer. I'm the lover of your soul. I love you. I know why. Even when we're hurt and angry, we blame God. We're like, God, you made this happen. And it makes us stay angry and resentful of God. And we miss out on our healing in a sense of being still angry and stuff, right? That's the plan of the enemy. The enemy wants you to be angry with God so you won't receive your healing. He wants you to be upset and confused and questioning God so you don't really get your healing and your true answer. You know what I'm saying? It's a mental thing that some people don't want to go through, but once you go through, it simplifies life. It makes it so much more easier to understand and to live and to understand your purpose and to fulfill it and to share this with other people. And so I'm thankful for this platform because I can only speak based off of what I went through, my experience. And when something's taken, you don't trust anybody. You don't trust not a one. But when you realize how good God is and what He has done, and that you can claim that and receive that, you'll start to trust more, and you'll start to have an understanding of why people do what they do, why it happened. Managing it is managing it. That's weight too. That's a weight. And I know listening to this right now, you're probably thinking, what do you know? Like, share it with me, or like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sitting at a point in time today in my right mind, not angry, forgiving, understanding, and I'm sharing this with you because it is possible. God has already done it. Jesus has already done it. It's not a religion, it's a relationship. There's no division. It's those that want to know Him will ask and seek Him. You'll get your answers. Living in this world, seeing things with your physical eye makes sense. But believing in the spiritual is a different level. And most of us operate there. But are you operating with the right spirits? That's another video, a different podcast. Anyhow, I just wanted to post this and let you know that I do understand the pain. I do understand the level of weight it creates when you're managing your pain and your situation. I also understand how it feels not to trust anybody. I also know and understand how it feels to be misunderstood. And even when you talk to other people, you talk, no one's really listening with the right ears. I understand that. I think that prevention is good too when you're seeking wisdom in terms of educating yourself of why. And we tend to do that because we don't have the answers. But when God shows someone the answers and they're trying to share it with you, you got to be open for that as well. You know what I'm saying? So as much as we're hearing people go through a lot of grooming and a lot of, like, you know, it hurts me. I think it's going to be in another podcast because I really want to speak freely about it. But this one, I just wanted to talk about managing and have we really overcome the pain of abuse? Have we really are we healed from that? And would you want that? would you want to be completely healed, opposed to just living with it and just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's raining outside. It's kind of heavy, and I'm like a little bit emotional because it does hurt my heart when I hear a news story or I see a news story of women going through certain things, or not even just women, children, people going through things, and it's been a secret for so long, and now they're speaking about it. The healing process needs to take place. Do you know what I'm saying? This discussion, it needs to be spoken about, we need to talk about it. It's not normal. I'm not saying that everyone's making it normal. It's not normal. It's not supposed to be something we have to deal with, but we need to deal with it. We need to talk about it. We need to deal with it. We need to get proper healing. You know what I'm saying? It's my heart, man. That's my heart. I'm going to end by saying this. The truth is out now. You're speaking your truth. You're sharing it. You want to be set free. You want to be healed completely, not just to manage it. You've managed it for so long. Complete healing is for you. It's for everyone. I received it because God's grace is good. It's good. It's sufficient. He heals us and reveals to us what really happened. My generation or my family, my past, all this stuff is different from yours. But we have one thing in common, and that's the enemy. That's the enemy. We don't fight against people. It's the enemy behind the person. So it's the enemy that needs to be exposed. Anyhow, I'll see you in the next podcast. I'll see you in the next video. You'll hear from me in the next podcast. Just want to say enough love. And remember, Jesus loves you more than I love you. Jesus loves you.